Hello, today I'm going to be showing you how to divide your circle into a grid to help you design a mandala. In this example that I have here, you will notice that there are some circles that have been drawn inside the big circle, and those circles are there to help me when I'm designing so that I can try to match the end of things. I'm going to show you how to do that now. Your circle might end up with 24 equal pieces or 16 equal pieces depending on how you made it, and it doesn't really matter. This circle has 24 equal pieces. Now we're going to make smaller circles inside the bigger circle to help us when we are designing. It is helpful to use a ruler to do this, but you do not have to. What you want to do is take your ruler or your straight edge and put the beginning at the center of the ruler, of the circle. Then I want you to make a mark at approximately 1 inch and then at 2 inches. After you do that, skip one line and go to the next line and do the same thing. And you are going to do this all the way around. Do not do this in every line. It is not necessary. Just remember to make a mark at 1 inch and at 2 inches every other line. And I'm going to go ahead and do this off camera. If you look at my circle, you can see that I went around and I made a mark at 1 inch and at 2 inches on every other line. Now you're going to take your pencil and you are going to join these little marks. And you're going to go very slowly and very lightly. And if you join these little marks, you are going to end up with a circle. Keep turning your paper. It helps to turn your paper when you're doing this. And go slowly and make very light marks. That way if something doesn't look right, you can go back and erase it. This circle is not necessarily going to stay here at the very end. This circle is there to serve as a guide when you're designing. You can keep it if you want, but it is not necessarily meant to stay there. Do the same thing with your outer circle. And as you're drawing, you're making an arc. So make a nice curve, sweep across. Keep turning your paper as you're doing this. And if you make a mistake, it's okay. You can erase your mistakes. Not a big deal. Now we only started out making marks at 1 inch and at 2 inches. But as you are designing, you might find that you need another circle. And that's okay. If you need another circle inside your design, now you know how to create it. This grid is extremely helpful when you are designing, because if you're drawing an element, for example, let's say that you start at this edge right here. Visually, you can make an object go from one area to the next using your circle as a guide. And even if you don't want to go from one circle to the next, you could go halfway. For example, down here in the center, I could decide to draw an element that only goes about halfway up my circle. But having that circle in that section helps me to visually create elements that line up with each other.